Alright everyone, thank you for coming to our video today. Today we're talking about a highly requested topic that I have a lot of experience in. And it's dating, especially online dating when you have a service dog. So I got some questions on my Instagram. Go follow us on Instagram at service.pup. And we're going to answer some questions today that I received when I put up a story about dating. This is Azul. He's my service dog, just so you know. He's a medical alert service dog. He was trained by Doggy Dogood, and he is a lifeline for me. So let me take a look at my questions. Okay, so Life with Pen Pen asked, do you take your SD on the first date? So yes, I take him everywhere with me. He's my service dog. He goes everywhere with me. He goes to the store. He goes... Basically, like, my philosophy is, if they're going to get to know me for real, I'm an honest person. I'm an open book. I want people to know who I really am and what my life is actually like. So I bring Azul, but that's not the first time we talk about it. So, the Golden Henry asked, when do you tell them about your service dog? So I put it in my dating profile. I can put a little screenshot up of what I say. But basically, my little tagline is, no, you can't pet my service dog, but I promise it's the meanest thing about me. Because I wanted to put it out there that, yes, I have a service dog. No, you cannot pet him. And yes, I want to talk about this. And so I get a lot of questions, even people who aren't interested in dating, people who just have questions about service dogs. And they range from really offensive to really basic to really sweet. But generally, the ones I get are, why can't I pet your service dog? Or why is it wrong to pet service dogs? And what's wrong with you? So I always say that I am a third date person. So you can find out what's wrong with me on the third date. Because I want to give someone a little bit of time to get to know me before they're brushed off by my disability. It's up to you how you feel you want to let that situation go. You don't have to feel obligated to tell anyone about your disability, so definitely don't take my word on it on how that should go. It's totally up to you what you end up doing, so you don't have to make it a 30 conversation. You can put it out there at the beginning, you can put it in your profile, whatever you're most comfortable with. I just, it's kind of sensitive for me, so I don't like putting it out there too often. So Indigo Lavi SC asks, do you bring Azul to dates' houses? If so, how do you ask/how do they react? So I do bring Azul to dates' houses. I usually don't go, so we usually have a first date in a public place like coffee or dinner, and they meet Azul there for the first time. Of course, they don't interact with Azul because he's working, but they usually get their fears, put to rest because they see that he's just, a good dog, he's working, he's helping me, so they, get their first experience with Azul. And then once we progress to a date where it would be at their house, I ask if there's anyone in the house that has a problem with dogs, if they have other dogs or other animals, and it really varies from person to person about how they're going to react to that. So, for example, the latest person that I was seeing, they had 4 little dogs, and they lived with their parents, and so it was really funny because we were watching a movie and Azul, he was off duty, he was unvested, he was just relaxing. He got up and wandered around the house with these other dogs because he's, very chill. And the dogs went upstairs to this person's mother's bedroom, and the mom ended up texting the person I was dating and saying, oh my gosh, there's a bear in my room, because Azul is so large. But generally, I let him, stay close to me. He knows better than to run around. So Azul is my main priority when I'm at those houses, though, because his safety is my main concern. We're a team. We take care of each other. So, I really have to look out for him and what's best for him in all these situations. And, of course, he's there for me in case I need any help. So, I really play it by ear. If there's a reactive dog, I would never take him to their house. If there's any sort of problem at all, I usually tell a date, like, hey, I'm just being honest, like, he's with me all the time, you can put your dogs away, we can work on socializing them together, but, like, they really need to think about how our relationship's going to go if I'm always with my service dog and my service dog can't come to your house. That's just the fact. So we want to get used to it now, sooner rather than later. As far as how Azul reacts to all that, though, Azul loves other dogs. He's not like super hyperactive or in your face, but his tail will wag, he'll be excited, and he'll sniff around. But generally, Azul is a very chill dog. So he'll just find a place to lay down, or, he'll check in with me, make sure that I'm okay. But, generally, he's really chill. He's just a chill guy. Let's see. I have one more question I wanted to answer that I got in my inbox, actually, not on my response to my story. And so it was from Marigold and Azul, I think? Maroon, Gold, and Azul, yes. And they let me know about their issues and worry about how they'd be in a relationship, when it comes up to the time when you'd discuss having a service dog with someone, they freeze up, or if it's online dating, they just stop responding because they don't know how to talk about having a service dog and how to react. So I basically took I at first did not know how to broach the subject of having a service dog because it's a big part of my life, but at the same time, people that don't interact with service dogs have no idea how it can affect your life. Also, this is my cat, Joey. So people, are very unaware of how service dogs really impact your life and what they really do. So I wanted to kind of put that out there first so people can get their questions out of the way. So I put it in my dating profile. I just put it out there that I have a service dog and he goes everywhere with me, and, when we're planning that first date, I always make sure to make it a point, hey, just in case you didn't notice, I have a service dog, do you have any questions? And here's some good responses to the questions. So the first question I get is, what's wrong with you? I always say, that's a third date conversation, but, if you have your concerns, we can talk about them, but that's private medical information that I want to get to know you a little more before I disclose any of that. And people are pretty chill with that. If they're not the kind of person you want to be dating anyway. The second question I get is, why can't I pet service dogs? We all know why. Give it a brief rundown. Usually people are educated and it's not a big deal. If they push and say, well, is it illegal if I pet your service dog? Then I usually unmatch because, if they're going to be annoying, they really aren't in it for my best interest. They wouldn't push that issue. If they're going to push with my service dog, they're going to push about other things, and I want someone who respects my boundaries. Another question that I get a lot is, when can I pet your service dog? And my personal rule for Azul is that when he's off duty, I take his vest off. So it's not so much a cue for Azul, because Azul is pretty much always working for me. But it's more of a cue for other people to know when I need him to be more focused and when I will allow him to have more room. Because at the end of the day, a dog's a dog. He's going to need some relaxing time. He's going to want some affection. And, but he's not a pet. He is a medical equipment. So I want to, make that clear distinction that he has a job. It's very visual when he's working, so other people have that structure, and they know how to respect my boundaries. That being said, it's always a good idea, personally for me, to get around someone in a physical space to see how they react to the service dog. See if they're weird about you going into places with your dog. Get that kind of discomfort out of the way, because a lot of people, aren't used to bringing a dog in somewhere with them. I went on a date with someone, we went to a restaurant, and they were like, oh, can we sit outside? She has a dog. And I was like, no, we're sitting inside. I have a service dog. He's allowed in the restaurant. And my date was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, assume. And I was like, no, it's okay. Service dogs are allowed. And we discussed, what service dogs are allowed to do. And he saw how well Azul behaved. And we didn't end up, hitting it off or whatever. But that interaction taught him a little more about service dogs. And, it was a fun date. So, a win-win. As far as, so here's the question that I know no one is going to ask, but everyone wants to know, is what happens when you're hooking up? So, Azul has a very specific alert for me. It's an interruption during a certain situation, and there was a bit of a learning curve when I first got Azul about when I was in a situation and when I wasn't. And so it's sometimes interrupted hooking up with someone. So there's a lot of working with Azul, letting me know that I'm safe, distinguishing his alerts, fine-tuning them. But all in all, You know, he's a well-trained dog. If I put him in a downstay, if I give him a place to lay, you know, we'll usually lay on a blanket or, you know, some pillows. I'll put him in place, give him a toy, or maybe some treats to let him, you know, like have something to do, and he's usually fine. So it's not really an issue. The biggest issue, the biggest red flag, if my dog is having a problem with someone, is uncomfortable in an environment, that should be a sign for me that maybe I should rethink what I'm doing. Because if my dog, I mean, I learned this the hard way, if my dog doesn't like someone, they're probably not a great person. So, you know, just being an eye out for that. Azul's a great judge of character, and I should definitely trust him. So that's all the dating advice that I have for you guys. If you have any more questions, I'd love to answer them. And I'm going to be doing a special video series on what it was like working with the organization I worked with, Doggy Do Good, to receive Azul, and the process from fundraising to training to, you know, matching, all the different things that I went through in that 6-month process. You know, a lot of it was waiting, but there was a lot of stuff going on that I didn't realize. And then I'm going to do a whole debrief on what the last 6 months have been like living with a service dog, having never owned a dog before. So we're going to make a lot of new videos. It's going to be a lot of content, and I'm excited to talk more about my life with Azul. Thanks, guys.